one of the real stars of the party. I'm personally gutted that he's not going to be in Parliament. I still think he's going to be an absolute force in British politics over the next 5 years, Ben Habib. And Ben, I'm told that you're making the crazy decision to brave it on the British Bashing Corporation tonight. Are you mad? You're going on Question Time.
I've got no problem with Question Time. I like Fiona Bruce. I get on with it. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. I can't imagine you're going to get an easy ride. But Ben, look, clearly the electoral system in this country is completely wrong. You should be in the House of Commons. There's no question about that. But a revolution began last night, didn't it?
Yeah. So I'm not as quick to condemn the first past the post system as perhaps some people are. I mean, it is an affront to democracy that we've got 4 million votes. The Lib Dems got 3.2 million votes. We've got 5 seats now, by the way, because we just won Thurrock. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
With 98, with a margin of 98 votes. So we've got 5 seats, 4 million votes. Lib Dems get 3.2 million votes and 71 seats. And it's the way the cookie crumbles. And I think what they need to look at carefully is how that cookie crumbles. I'm a bit circumspect about PR, because with PR, what happens is that in order to get into government, you have to do a coalition deal almost invariably. And in the pursuit of a coalition deal with other parties in order to get power, you give up your ideology. And so with PR, even though you get representation, you can't deliver the vision that the people voted for. And, you know, it's sort of devil in the deep blue sea. And it might be that there's some mixture between a first past the post system, which maybe gives you 600 seats, and then some kind of form of PR for a 50 seat part of the Commons. So you get a representation if you've got a broader support, but you can't manage first past the post. But I quite like first past the post in the sense that it gives you the power that you need to deliver the ideology which the electorate voted for, if you're with me.
Yeah, strong government, potentially. I do understand that, although I have to say I'm now a real campaigner for PR. The other disturbing development we saw last night, Ben, was the introduction of sectarian politics into the UK. 4 Labour MPs booted out by the most extreme pro-Hamas candidates, or at least pro-Palestine candidates. And it's really disturbing, isn't it, to see this developing? Does that prove that multiculturalism has failed in the UK?
I mean, we have oodles of evidence that multiculturalism has failed. It just doesn't work. Multiculturalism, by definition, doesn't work. Why we ever tried it is beyond me. You know, the definition of a nation state, the definition of a society requires a settled culture. And multiculturalism, by definition, seeks to celebrate and promote other cultures. It has no vision on integration. It abhors integration. It wishes the schisms in society to be created through different cultures being celebrated and promoted. And the way it's practiced in the UK is to promote these other cultures that have been imported to the UK to the detriment of what was the settled culture. You know, and you now get the sort of liberal lefty lunatics rolling their eyes and, you know, saying, well, what is British culture? Well, it's pretty clear what British culture is. It's the modern manifestation of all that's gone before in our history. That's what we are. And that is being set aside with our history being rewritten, other cultures coming in and being promoted and over and above into the detriment of our own culture. And if people can't see that, and they can't see the importance of why that mustn't be allowed to happen, then I'm afraid we're on a journey to hell. And whilst you can fix a broken economy, you can fix a broken defenses and so on, you can even repel an enemy over time. What you cannot recapture is our culture if it's destroyed. And I'm really concerned about the cultural direction of travel for this country. And, you know, the regulatory framework, which gives people like Sadiq Khan the cover that they need to put up a picture of four white people and say they don't represent London, or to say that at least 40% of the Met should be from ethnic minorities, which if a white person were to, invert that statement and say at least 60% of the Met should be white, they'd be accused of being racist and hounded out of office. But Sadiq Khan can get away with it because of the promotion of, ethnic minorities and ethnic religious minority views, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got to stop it. We've got to ditch DEI. We've got to come back to the common sense position that in order for society to be settled, we need integration. Immigration can't take place at a pace with which we cannot cope. People who come to this country have to pay allegiance to this country. They have to be taught our history. That history has to be taught in context and correctly, not with us having to hold our heads in shame, which is how our history is taught at the moment. They must learn our language, and there must be a form of integration. That is critical.
Inject me with those words, Ben Habib. Look, finally, I just want to talk about the plan now, because I genuinely believe that there could be a Prime Minister Farage by 2029. I know people are going to say that I'm crazy, but look at what's happening with Le Pen in France. Yeah. And I heard Farage say earlier he absolutely believes that she will be the next president of France. So do I. So this revolution over the next 5 years, I think, could actually see Labour swept away in a historic majority in 2029. But look, tell me, what has to happen for Reform UK to be able to do that?
So, a number of things have to happen. Reform UK comprises a number of individuals, including myself, who've actually never held power. We've been on the sidelines, and we've correctly pointed out, in my view, many of the problems that have beset the United Kingdom, and we've come up with some really first-class ideas on how we solve them. But we now need to develop a team of people. It's got to be broad, it's got to be deep. It cannot rest on one person or a very small number of people. And we've got to have the ability to enact and execute the vision that we have for the United Kingdom. And we've got to develop that through local councillors, local branches, democratize our own party, which at the moment is itself not a democracy, and become genuinely a serious political party. We can't just be detractors and criticizers from the sidelines, and that's going to take quite a different approach. And I'm absolutely delighted we're going to have MPs in the Commons, and I hope that the MPs that we have will come together as a team and promote our ideology and use the infrastructure that will now be at their disposal to create the machine that we need to create, not just to point out what's wrong with the system and have some ideas, but to deliver those ideas into practice.
There has to be a realignment of the right too. I mean, what's interesting about that though, Ben, is that I was not on this zero seats conservative bandwagon, which I know was very popular on social media. But I believe that for there to be a true realignment of the right, there has to be some sort of agreement between a reinvented Conservative Party, which is truly conservative, and Reform UK. Where do you stand on that? Are you in the camp of, no, the Tories just have to go altogether, we're going to wipe them out? Or do you think there could be a working relationship at least?
There's just a couple of things on that. I don't think the debate, if you don't mind me saying so, is between left and right. The debate is between those who wish to govern this country through global principles, with top-down governance, where they dictate to the people what it is that they think is right, and then they hide behind international law in order to ensure that our democratic voices can't be heard. I call them the globalists, and the vast majority of the Conservative Party is globalist, and the Labour Party is entirely globalist, which is a joke, really, when you think that the Labour Party was founded in order to represent British working class. There could be nothing more domestic in its origins than that purpose, but it's become hijacked by these global aims. And the Conservative Party is very substantially also a globalist party. There are some elements in the Conservative Party, the European Research Group and perhaps one or two others, groups, within the Conservative Party. They've got a number of families which believe in the nation state, believe in policies being made for the benefit of the nation state and the citizens of this country. And with them, we can obviously be aligned. You see, I don't see Reform UK as a right-wing party. I see it as a nationalist party, a party that simply wishes to put the United Kingdom first, independent, sovereign, prosperous United Kingdom, where our borders are enforced, we have territorial integrity, and our culture is protected in the way that I've described. That is not right-wing. That is simply putting our country first. And if there are MPs in the Conservative Party that wish that vision for the UK, then they're most welcome to join us. But I don't think there can be any association with the Conservative Party until it sorts out what it believes it stands for. And I don't think they really have got a grip of it yet. They say they're a broad church. I think they're a divided church. They've got the globalist lot and then a small number, and an even smaller number after yesterday, of, genuine nationalist MPs.
If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to subscribe to Dan Wootton Outspoken, where you'll get much more of it. See you soon.